What's up, YouTube? I'm here with Millie. Millie is the first van that we've built for 2021. We're going to be making 3 more that are going to be almost identical to her. I've been spending the past couple days out here in Tennessee just living out of her, making sure everything's running fine. So there might be a little dirt, a little mud on the tires, but this is closer to what she looks like in action. Alright, just going to do a quick walk around. We got the Fiamma awning. Got our porch light up there. Coming around to the front, we've got the LED light bar up top. And around the sides over here we have our CR Lawrence opening window. So these open right here, so that gives you some ventilation. And back here we have the flare space flares. They add a few extra inches just so you can fit a bed sideways through here. We got those on either side, and I'll show you how that works with the bed once we show the inside. So around the back we have the access ladder for the roof. Millie has an antenna to cell phone booster up there. We've got the backup camera, the rear porch light. I'm gonna go ahead and go up here and show you what all's on the roof. So we've got this rack back here. It's about 2 feet by 4 feet. The 2 solar panels are 300 watts. They charge the batteries. I'll show that on the inside. There's 2 roof vents. They're both 10-speed, reversible, and these ones are nice. They have rain sensors on them, so if it's raining, they'll automatically close themselves. Coming around to this side, we've got the awning again. Here's the other flare. Both flares have slider windows on them, so that adds a lot of ventilation. Ventilation is super important in these to stay cool during the summertime. So taking a look back, I want to talk about the layout that Millie has. For anyone that's been following me for a little bit, you'd realize that this is the same layout that I use every time. It's an open layout. It works really well as a living space. It's not cluttered. There's no partition walls. It's just an open space. Everything faces the door. So the couch faces the door. The kitchen area faces the door. It's really centered around being a space that you can go outdoors in, you can get off grid, and you can live in for an extended amount of time. It's a comfortable space to be in. It still has all the amenities. The amenities are very well thought out, put in spots where they're not in the way, where they will be used. It does have a toilet. I'll go ahead and show that. That is under the couch here. So this first couch cushion actually has a composting toilet. So you lift up the seat, the toilet's right here. I have another video that goes really in depth on how this works, but I'll just give a quick overview. It uses a bag system. It has a urine diverter, and it actually has a urine tank down here, and there's also a valve down here to dump that urine tank, so you never have to take the tank out. You never have to clean it out. It just stays in there. This switch is for the fan, so anytime it's in use, you turn the fan on, and that vents any smells outside. It's amazing how well these things work. They really do not smell when you're using them. And then there's also some composting bags here. So what you do is you put a bag in the bucket, and once the bag is full, it should last more than a week. It lasts a pretty good time. But once it's done, you just take the bag out, throw it away, and you put a new bag in. So there's no surfaces in here that you have to clean. All you have to do is just empty that bag every once in a while. Alright, just taking a look inside. We've got the bed in the back. It is a queen size bed. I believe it is about 75 inches across, so the flares allow you to do that. I'm 6'1" and I can sleep sideways on this bed, so it is big enough to sleep on. It is a 6-inch memory foam mattress. And for this one specifically, it was requested that there be a spring system under here. This is a Froley bed system. It's the first time I've installed one of those, but I think that's going to work really well. Adds a little more support, and it also adds a little space under the mattress for some airflow. We look at the walls. There's a lot of fabric in here. I like to use fabric for the surfaces because it tends to be a little bit warmer, it's quieter, it absorbs noise. And when you touch it in the winter, it's not going to be super cold. So that's why I have a lot of fabric in here. We've got the open storage above. I like to keep it open to keep it super lightweight. It really does make a difference having weight up high. You really don't want to have a lot of weight up here. You'll notice it when you're handling, when you're going down the highway. So trying to keep everything super lightweight up there. We've also got a net system over here, so you can store some things up here. Millie has a little fan here to cool you off when you're sleeping, a few reading lights. And if we come down here, we get our switches. So these are control the down lights. You got two zones, you got the front and the back. And they are both dimmable. So we got 4 back here, and we've got 4 up front. So those are your down lights. We also have a little outlet right here, and around here there's a phone charger. So there's 4 USBs right here. Come around to this side. We've got our thermostat. So there is a diesel heater. I'll show you where that's at. Right under here. It is under the passenger seat. That's a 2,000 watt heater. Controlled via the thermostat. It connects directly to the Sprinter fuel tank, so you never have to refuel that. As long as you have a full tank or a partially full tank, that heater is going to run, so that's super nice. We have our remote switch for our inverter, so that's for these 120 volt switches, so you don't have to get under the couch to turn it on and off. You can just turn it on and off right here. And yeah, let me show you the electrical system. It is very well hidden. It has a 300 amp hour lithium battery, and I used to use AGM batteries. I switched over to lithium to get a little extra power, and there's a lot of nice things about it, but they tend to be really small. So I was able to redesign where the battery goes, and it actually fits behind the toilet. It's behind this board back here. You can access it through here. But there's also your solar controller back there. All your fuse boxes are down here. Your inverter's down there. So yeah, that's your whole power system. It's connected to the solar. It's connected to the alternator. It should last a while. On this trip that I've been on, I've actually been on a 5-day trip with this before, and never ran out of power. Never even got close to running out of power. So that system should run really well. All right, so we've got our kitchen area over here. We have a propane stove. We've got the sink right here, and this is new, something that has changed from prior vans. We have a detachable nozzle for the sink. And something else that was requested for this, for Millie, is the cold water here is just your normal water from your tank. And if you go to hot water, it's hooked up to a filter. So that's actually filtered drinking water coming out right now. So that's pretty convenient. It all drains back into a tank under the bed. I will show that here in a minute from the back. If you look down here, we've got all of our storage down here. I've been using some of it on this trip. We've got 2 little cubbies over here, and then we have the fridge down here. So the fridge, I'll come outside the van to get a better view of it. So you can roll the fridge out and access it like this. It's a top-loading fridge. There's a ton of space down in here. It is controlled right here, and you can also control it through a Bluetooth app. So there's an app on your phone that you can access it with. I also forgot to mention the battery, or the solar controller is the same way. It has a Bluetooth app that you can look on it and you can monitor it from that. Something else new about this fridge, there is an electronic locking device on it. So instead of it having to manually lock it every time, all you got to do is push it all the way back in, and when you start the car, it'll automatically lock itself so it doesn't move around from that position. And then when you turn the car off, it unlocks, so you always have access to it when you're parked. All right, coming around to the back, just going to look at all the storage area back here. So there's a huge amount of storage. I like to keep it just as open as I can, so depending on how somebody wants to use it, they can customize it the way they want to. I have one of my vans, someone was able to fit 3 bicycles back here, so there is a ton of space, however you want to use it. I try to keep it open to under the couch. It does go back past the safe there, but there's an extra like 3 feet if you have longer items that'll fit back in there. You have the little hobbit door that goes up front. There are lights back here, so there's that one by the door, and there's one back here. You have a plug back here, and you also have this switch which controls your rear porch light. So if you're out here at night, you have a little extra light back here. Over here we have our whole water system. So we have, up here is our 21-gallon freshwater tank. Down below, that's a 7-gallon gray water tank from the sink, and that is emptied through a valve all the way back here. So you can keep that open, you can keep it closed, depending on when you want to dump the water. Another nice thing about that tank is it has a release valve on it. If you forget to dump it and it overflows, it won't overflow back into the van. It'll just automatically start dumping itself, so you don't have to worry about that backflowing into the van. We have our pump and accumulator right here. Shouldn't have to worry about those. I did keep it open just so you can access it and for maintenance, but for the most part you should never have to get back in there. And then in this white box here is our propane tank. That's for the stove up front, and that's for the hot water heater here. It's super important to keep that sealed. That's why it's in that box, and there's a vent that vents to the bottom so that no pressure builds up in there. And then back here we have our hot water heater. This is a instant hot water heater. It runs off the propane. We have a handheld shower head right here, and valves for it right here, and that thing works really well. I've been using it on this trip. It gets plenty hot enough to take a really nice hot shower. Alright, so that's the walkthrough for Millie. Just a real quick overview. I have some other videos. I have a walkthrough for some of my other vans that get even more in depth. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to send me a message. I'm glad to answer anything about the vans that I build. But again, I will be building 3 more of these for 2021. They're going to be nearly identical to this. So just be looking forward for those coming up.